Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome to my channel. I'm Excelsior Gaming. I normally do gaming content and just reviews on games and stuff like that normally on this channel, but I'm going to do something very different on this channel. I don't think I've ever done one of these, but I'm going to give my review on a coaster that I've just been on. Um, if anyone knows me personally in my life, they're probably bored to tears of me talking about Hyperia. Because I have literally watched it from start to finish, being built via various vlogs on YouTube, such as Jack Silkstone and Dominic Gardner, who, Dominic Gardner, I got to meet on Tuesday at Thorpe Park. So that was quite nice to finally meet him. Um, he was a really nice guy, actually, really friendly. We were getting escorted out by security because it was like past closing by the time we got off Hyperia. So yeah, but I finally have done Hyperia, um, and I'm going to give you my honest thoughts on it about the day and some surprises that I don't normally do that I'm going to show you towards the end. Right, so Tuesday finally got to Thorpe Park after 13 years. I've had some health problems in the past, and I've had pets and stuff as well, so I've not really been able to go since Swarm opened in it opened in 2012, but I went in the year after with my family in 2013, and that was the last time I went to Fort Park. So it's been a while. Um, but finally, me and a friend from work, we decided, do you know what? What the hell? Day off. Let's go to Fort Park. So we drove down to Fort Park on Tuesday morning. And when we got close, I got my first look at Hyperia. And let me just tell you that the videos, the vlogs, the photographs do not do this coaster any justice. I know you're not allowed to do this video on YouTube, but it's fucking huge. And I'm not kidding. I literally looked at it, my stomach went into my bum hole, and I went, King hell, is that how big it is? Because my friend had already been on it the week before, and he really wanted to go again, but he didn't want to go on his own again, so he took me. So he's already been on it, and he wanted to see my reaction when I saw it. Let me tell you, you could normally see Swarm when you come off the M3 onto the M25 motorway. You could see the arch because it was big. We could see Hyperia about 10 minutes before we even got towards Fort Park. That's how big it is. But then I think we took a different way to get to the entrance, and we passed a row of trees, and you could see the drop directly in front of you, the top drop. I cannot explain how tall this. It doesn't look tall on the pictures and the videos, but Jesus Christ, it's big. Um, I took a few pictures on the day as well, like me Hyperia in the background, and it just dwarfs me. And as we were crossing the bridge going into the park, you can see the drop from Saw. Saw now looks like a kiddie coaster. It looks about this big. You got Hyperia, which is about this big, and then you got Saw, which is down here somewhere. But no, it is absolutely fantastic. It may not be well themed, but I don't think it needs to be honest, because the speed you're going on this thing, you can't really see the theming anyway. Um, but I've always loved roller coasters. I'm not really a fan of flat rides. I don't like being spun and swung. Um, and stuff like that. I don't like the feeling it gives me in my stomach. But roller coasters, I will do any roller coaster you can throw at me if I can get on it. That is, we'll get on that topic a little bit later in the video. But yeah, so we got to Fort Park. We went well. I'd say we went straight to Hyperia. We didn't. Because obviously we got there about 9:40. You had to go through security check-in, have your bags checked, etc., etc. We pre-booked, I think, the week before, so we didn't really have to queue for tickets. We just scanned our phones and went straight through. Hint. Hang on, coffee. Yeah, so we went straight through, and we were thinking, right, let's get down to Hyperia first, beat the queues and whatnot. No, Park didn't open until 10, so we had another 20 minutes to go. All the gates to the access to you could get into the dome, um, etc. Get off the dome, round to Vortex and whatnot, but then it's all closed off, all gated off, so you can't really go anywhere. Um, so we queued there for about 20 minutes. Then more people started because we went on Tuesday because obviously all the kids are back at school, so we thought we'd get a quiet park. No, so many people. I think it's because obviously they were thinking the same as what we were. Kids are back at school. Let's get our chance to get on Hyperia. Um, but all in all, there wasn't that many people. Um, but yeah, we were all queuing up. Gates finally opened at just after 10 o'clock, and we all rushed straight for Hyperia. It's like one of those videos you see when a brand new coaster opens in America, and like thousands of people are running for this coaster. This is what it was like. He said, "I don't run. I'm too fat for that." So I was pace walking. Yeah, we pace walked to Hyperia. Um, thinking, let's get in the queue and let's just do this. No, Hyperia was testing. Thankfully, it was testing, but it was testing for an hour and a half. We were stood outside because we weren't allowed in the queue, because obviously it was testing. So we were all queued up outside the queue line, and we were there for an hour and a half. It finally opened at 11:30, but I was not leaving that queue because there was like 20 people in front of us before the portal for Hyperia. And I was like, I'm not leaving this. I'm staying here till it opens. I've come to this park for this coaster and just this coaster alone. If I get other rides during the day, bonus. But I'm here for Hyperia. I want to try it. It looked phenomenal. I literally took loads of recordings of it testing, stuff like that. Gulped a few times because it looked like it was going to be a killer coaster. Like it punish you, but it didn't. Yeah, so finally at 11:30, well, started raining on and off. So I think, oh god, it's raining, but I didn't care about the rain. Bit of rain's not going to hurt anyone. We finally got in the queue 11:30, and I think three trains dispatched before we finally got into the station. And on our first go, because we got two rides, which I'll come to in a bit. Our first one, we were on row three, and literally my nerves were going. I was shaking a little bit because I've never ever been on a coaster this tall. The highest coaster I've ever been on is Stealth. That's the highest I've ever been, and that thing's over so quick you just don't even notice. Um, but yeah, so Stealth's the highest coaster I'd ever been on up until this point. But we left the station. The music is just phenomenal, and the special effects stuff. You leave the station. I love Hyperia soundtrack. It's actually my theme tune. It's actually my ringtone on my mobile. But I love Hyperia soundtrack. It's so immersive, especially when you're going up that massive lift hill. I'm not even kidding. It goes up that lift hill so quick. It's what 236 feet. I think that's correct. 236 feet. It's on one of my lanyards. Yeah, I think it's 236 feet. But it gets up there so rapid and it's really steep as well. I was literally in my seat, like holding on to my lap restraint because that's another thing. I've never ever been on a coaster with a lap restraint. Every coaster I've ever been on has had an over shoulder. So this is the first time ever I've been on a coaster that's got a lap bar restraint. It's so comfortable though. I prefer the lap bars over the shoulder anytime. It's the most comfortable restraint I've ever had. But anyway, we were going up the lift hill rapidly. The views from up there are just outstanding when you open your eyes, because I was a bit apprehensive about opening it because as I said, never been that high. I was quite scared. No, but I opened my eyes. I even opened my eyes as we come over the crest of the lift hill. And my God, that first drop takes your breath away. You literally lift out of your chair like you're floating. It's like zero gravity. I literally lifted out of my chair, and I'm a big guy. I literally levitated out of my seat. That first drop is insane, and the rush of speed, I cannot get over how good that speed gets. Because I think when we get to the bottom of the first drop, we're at 81 miles an hour. My God, that thing packs a punch. And then you obviously come to the non-inverting Immelman because you come up and you flip over, so you're at the top of it. That the airtime on that, literally again out of your seat. Then you do the drop down into what can only be described as the best element on this coaster, and that is that outer bank inversion when you're on the outside of the track and then you flip round upside down. That element is phenomenal. I literally had my eyes open for the entire coaster apart from the lift hill, and I never ever have my eyes open because I'm always too scared. But I had my eyes open for the whole thing. It was so good. It just takes your breath away. I literally struggled to catch my breath sometimes. I think I cursed a few times on my first run through, like effing hell, because I just couldn't get over it. Yeah, so we did the outer bank element, which was fantastic. Then we come off of that into the stall loop, and I literally thought I was going to fall out. I literally went on tiptoes and pinned my thighs into the shoulder restraint to keep myself in. Obviously, you're not going to fall out, but you feel like you are because you just feel completely weightless as you're hanging upside down for what feels like an eternity, but it's like 4 seconds, if that. Then we come down into the splashdown, which wasn't working. Um, I must admit though, the splashdown track's looking. I don't know if it's rust or if it's like heat from the magnetic brakes, but it's orange. It's like rusty orange, the bottom of that, but that doesn't matter. It didn't affect it. Even though I could feel when we hit the splashdown, I felt the trim brakes kick in. You can feel it underneath you kicking in. But I think we needed it because we hit that splashdown at some speed. And then we got into that flip round thing before you get to the brake run. That flung me out of my chair. Oh my god! I thought I was going to come out come out the coaster, but and then you obviously hit the brake run and it slows you right down and you come into the station. But my first run on that, literally one word can only describe my first run on that and just the coaster in general, and that is phenomenal. It is literally my number one coaster in the country now, or ever ridden. Best coaster, hands down. Hyperia is just absolutely phenomenal. Um, Obviously, like did other things in the park as well. Went on Saw. Um, I'll come to a few. Obviously, this is my review on Hyperia, but I'll just point out a few things that I did have trouble with in the park. Obviously, I'm a big guy. Um, I lost loads of weight and put some back on during lockdown and when family members have died and whatnot from stress and stuff like that. So I've put a bit of weight back on. Um, but I've always been a big guy and I've got a big chest. Um, and I had some very embarrassing and difficult moments at Thorpe Park. I had an issue on Saw. I've always had an issue on Saw. I've always felt it a bit claustrophobic, Saw's restraints anyway. But I was nowhere near as big as I was the last time I went. I'm about 4 stone less than when I went last time in 2013. Um, and they literally had to crush me into the chair to get the restraint down. Um, Literally, I could not move. I was literally pinned into the seat, which felt secure, but I couldn't breathe. And I also had an issue on the Swarm, and I've never, ever, ever, ever had an issue on Swarm before. I don't know what they've done to those restraints, but literally, I literally had to breathe in as much as I could, pull the vest out so she could close the restraint. I've never had an issue on that before, but that's not here or there. I'm a big guy. It is quite embarrassing, but I was expecting an issue on Colossus. I've not been able to ride Colossus since 2008 because the restraints on that thing are designed for like size 2 people. They are so tight, so small, and that coaster's rough anyway. I didn't want to go on Colossus anyway until it's like been retracked and they've got better trains. But yeah, I've never ever had a problem on Swan before. Had an issue in the past on Saw, but I've always been able to get in the restraint and stuff. But I don't know what it was about the Swarm this time, but literally it. Although it was a good run, I enjoyed the ride. Just getting in the restraint was very uncomfortable. And right, I haven't got a massive bottom, but I could not get in the bloody seat for love nor money. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older and I'm just spreading out, but I could not get my arse in that seat. Um, all they sell at Fort Park is fast food, sweets, junk, and crap to eat. You'd think there a lot of the country is obese. I'm not going to say a majority, because it's not a majority, but a lot of the country is obese. You'd think they cater for that, especially when they sell crap that makes you fat anyway. Bigger seats, bigger restraints, or just literally, I had no problems on Hyperia. Lap bar came down, snug, perfect, most comfortable ride I've ever had on a roller coaster in my entire life. It needs to be more like that. Colossus could do with trains like Hyperia. Um, a lot of coasters don't need these over-shoulder restraints. I mean, Hyperia goes upside down and hangs you upside down for like 4 seconds, and it's only got a lap bar. You don't need over-shoulder restraints anymore that crush your chest. Lap bars are fine, perfectly fine. They could switch those out, and it would solve a lot of problems. But they do need to widen the seats a little bit, especially on the Swarm. Saw was fine. Nemesis was fine, except I had to get on the bigger. See, Nemesis is good. Nemesis Inferno has got a rows 5 and 6. They've got a seat on each, on one seat on rows 5, one seat on row 6. That's got a double strap that you clip into the restraint for larger chested people like me. Had no problems on that, so I got a good ride on Nemesis Inferno when it finally opened at 2 o'clock and the park shut at 5. Um, but yeah, so I got a few rides in. I finally did Walking Dead the ride as well because I'd only been on that when it was X No Way Out. It when it went backwards with dance music. So the last time I went on that. But I got a couple of rides in on Walking Dead the ride, which was brilliant. I'm not very good with live actors and jump scares and stuff, but thankfully they weren't on that day. It broke down just as we was about to start our second run, so we were evacuated off of it. And then we went back on it later on in the day. So yeah, I did. I didn't do stealth because at the moment I've got a really bad neck and I didn't want the force of the launch making my neck any worse. So I didn't do stealth. My friend did though. My friend did stealth, detonator, and stuff like that without me. Rush without me because I don't do, like I said, I don't do flat rides and things like that. Um, yeah, so yeah, I got most of the roller coasters in. Didn't do Colossus obviously because I can never fit on it anyway. Did Saw, did stealth. No, did Saw, did the Swarm, did Walking Dead, did Hyperia, obviously, because that's where I went. Rapids was closed for winter maintenance now. That's closed for the rest of the year now. Um, Other coasters. Oh, Nemesis Inferno. I did Nemesis Inferno as well. Forgot that one. But then, towards the end of the day, we thought, right, let's get one more ride in Walking Dead. It's like 20 to 5 now. And then we'll head to the Hyperia shop because I wanted to have a look around because I'll get to that at the end. But I wanted to have a looking around the shop, so we got right. Let's get one more ride in Walking Dead the ride because that was really good, and there was no queues. We got straight on. No, they didn't even bother putting the pre-show on because it was just the two of us. So we just jumped straight on. Another go on that. I thought, right, let's go over to the Hyperia shop now, so I can have a look around, have a mooch. Because I picked up a lanyard first thing in the morning because I wanted a new lanyard for work and whatnot. And I said, oh, we'll have a look around in the shop before we go home. Just one last look in case I don't get here again for a long time. Um, and we were surprised to see at 10 to 5, the queue for Hyperia is still open and it only said 30 minutes. So we thought, right, let's chance it. Let's get on it. Let's try and have a second run on Hyperia because I really wanted it to be the icing on the cake, one final run on Hyperia before we went home. And thank God they kept the queue open. They closed it dead on 5, and people tried to get on, and they was like, "No, queue's closed now. The people in the queue are the last people on." Thankfully, we just got in the queue, so we queued up for a bit. Started raining again. I think there was about 150 people in front of us, so we weren't in the queue long, about 20 minutes. And we got a second go on Hyperia. But when we got into the station, obviously they tell you what road they ask you how many people, and then they tell you what road to go on to between 1 and 10. I don't think I could ever go on the front of Hyperia, not just yet. I don't think I could see that drop coming first. It was. I don't think I'm ready for the front yet. But on our second and final run, we got row 9, which is one from the back. Oh my god! I think it was Jack Silkstone that said back row is the best seat to ride on Hyperia. He wasn't joking. Obviously, we were second from back, but it's still the same car. We were in the last car, front row of the last car. Um, and oh my god, you literally get ripped off the top of that lift hill when you're at the back. and the G-forces and the weightlessness on that back row. If I thought my first run was exceptional and brilliant, my last run, Jesus Christ, it was absolutely fantastic. I have never experienced a ride like this before. So, my honest review on Hyperia, is it worth it? Fuck yes. It's the best roller coaster I've ever been on in my entire life. I cannot wait to go back again. Me and my friend have already decided next year when it reopens for the season, because obviously we're not going to have time now because I'm going back to work next week because I'm off this week. We're going back to I'm going back to work next week, and then obviously next month Fright Night starts, and you have to pre-book all that, and I just haven't got the time off anyway. So next year we're gonna stay at the Thorpe Shark Hotel and have 2 days in the park. So we're going to do that to get a couple of days at the park in and get some as many rides in and on Hyperia as we can because it's now our favourite. Um, but yeah, 10 out of 10. Thorpe Park, you've done yourselves proud. It may have been a 13-year wait for a new coaster since the Swarm opened, but it was worth the wait, let me tell you. If you haven't ridden Hyperia yet, do it. You will not regret it. It is the best roller coaster I've ever been on. It is so good. The elements on it are just, there's nothing else like it. It's absolutely fantastic. But the subject I'm going to get onto before I go, this is how much I must have loved it. I have visited Thorpe Park hundreds of times in my life. I've never brought merch. I think I brought a Saw mug once when I first went on Saw because I've always been obsessed with Saw. I've got all the films, etc. But I must have liked Hyperia because I brought merch, lots of merch. Um, I brought the bottle, which I fell in love with the bottle as soon as I saw that in the store when I walked in the morning after our first run. I fell in love with that bottle. That perfect for work. That bottle. I got. Obviously, you saw it earlier. I got the mug. I also got the bag, which you have to buy the strap for separate. Since when do you buy a bag and then you have to buy the strap separate? Anyway, I got the bag because I need a new bag for work anyway. So I got that. They didn't have any Hyperia key rings left, so I had to get this one, which has got like the new logo on it, and it's got a Hyperia. Let me find it. Where is it? There it is. It's got a Hyperia um, thing on the key. It's just logos of all the roller coasters and tidal wave and stuff on their key ring. What else did I get? Oh yeah, I got a couple of lanyards, one for work and one for my keys. I got the pink one for work, which says Europe's tallest inversion, 165 feet. Sorry if I'm not looking at the camera as well. I keep looking down at the screen. I've got a habit of doing that. I also got the blue one for my house keys, and this one says Thorpe Park's longest track length, 3,254 feet. What else did I get? I think that was it. Oh, and I got a Thorpe Park ping badge because although it's a bit of a controversy, I quite like the new branding. I actually quite like it. It looks really grown up. It looks really modern. I quite like it. I'm just trying to think if I got anything else. I got the bag. I got the cup. I got the bottle. Oh, I got one of those refillable cups. You know, the free Coke freestyle thing. It was the website said £15, but it cost £16 actually. But I think I got about 7 drinks through the day. So all in all, it's just, is it worth it? I'd say yeah, because normally you pay about what, £3 for a drink. Yeah, it's worth it. If you want to take it back though, when you go next, I think it's £9 to reactivate the cup, which I think is a bit wrong. Because you've bought the cup already, you should just better like a couple of quid reactivate it. Um, so yeah, I got Hyperia merch, and I don't buy merch ever, so I must have loved Hyperia. It literally has made an impression on me. Because obviously, if you've been a member of my channel for a while, I think I've done 4 versions of a Hyperia recreation using Planet Coaster on Xbox. Um, I was going to do another one now that I've actually been on it, but I don't think I'm going to bother, to be honest. I've done 4 versions of it. I don't really want to bore my channel with any more Hyperia recreations. I might try again when Planet Coaster 2 comes out, because it might have better scenery pieces and stuff to make it look a bit more like it and stuff. But yeah, so this was my honest review on Hyperia. Best coaster ever. Oh, they didn't have any t-shirts and stuff in my size, so I had to go on their online store and order them, because the maximum they went up to in the store was XL, and I'm a 3XL because, like I said, I'm a big fat bastard. Yeah, so I've had to go online and order the t-shirt, sadly. I was going to get a hoodie, but I'm not paying £60 for a hoodie. Although I love Hyperia, £60 for a hoodie, that's outrageous. So yeah, best coaster ever. Do it. Go on Hyperia. If not this year, next year. But don't take everybody, because then the queues are really long and it means you have to wait. No, no, honestly, go on it. You will not regret it. It's fantastic. I've got a photo. I will flash it up at the end of this video. Please ignore my face. I did enjoy it, but I do look like Shrek having a tantrum. So I do have a ride photo, which I'll flash up at the end. But thank you ever so much for sitting through my Hyperia review, which turned into a Thorpe Park review. But thank you for sitting through this video. Please, please go on Hyperia. Thorpe Park, thank you for the best day on Tuesday. One of the best days I've ever had in my life. I really needed it. Thank you ever so much for a brilliant day. All your staff are so friendly and fantastic. But thank you everyone for watching this video. If you're new to my channel, please drop me a like and subscribe. It really does help my channel to grow. And to all my existing channel members, thank you ever so much for sticking with me. I know I've not posted in a while, but I've been back at work. Sadly, last month my dog passed away, so I've had that to contend with as well. And everyone, all my channel members know how much I love my dog. But anyway, thank you ever so much for sticking with me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll speak to you all in my next one. Take care, stay safe, ride Hyperia.
Yeah, there's another one who's doing that. This one I can't. Big one.
moving.